know, positioning, finding out who you are in the process and understanding. Do you understand the linear nature of what we're trying to create here? We're trying to create a kind of an understanding of who we are in business, what unique value we bring to our business, and then how do we get that into the universe, right? Is everybody understanding what's going on here? Yeah? Okay, good. And so, talk to me. Talk to me. Because I have to suspect that it's not all coming to you in a. I suspect you have questions, right? Conflicts, growths. Anybody? No? So perfectly, know who you are, understand how to define yourself in the marketplace.
It's kind of tough for me to define myself in the marketplace when I have yet to have experience in the marketplace. I know, like, theoretically what I should be able to offer my clients, and so I went off of that, like what I should theoretically, thank you, theoretically, like be able, like the services I should theoretically be able to provide, and so I made like my gifts and my strengths as a person, I just kind of shifted them into like real estate firms. And
Which you should be.
right, which is what the homework was asking us to do. So I feel like in that aspect, it's fine, but you know, I don't have experience in the marketplace, so I can't be like, this is what I'm good at as a real estate.
You're not a proven entity.
That
So
part, that part.
What? So I would ask you to search for areas of your life where you believe you are valid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And build onto that, because I think it's really, really important to understand that you are valid, right? Whether you're performing the task of a realtor or doula or a mother or a friend or anything else.
Yeah.
So, well, I don't think there's anything more you're not missing, right? Say, oh, there's some missing ingredient that makes me more valid than I am. Right? Anybody else? No? Do you have the overview of the second?
No, I don't.
Okay, anybody else need second one? You missed, you guys, neither of you got it last week? You weren't here last week? Well, let's start 3. 1, 2. How many? 3?
Hey, Joey. Joey?
All right.
Hey, Joey.
Is there 2? All right, so we
Joey.
are.
Joey.
For me, it's 33, but it might be different for you guys. In power session number 2.
In power session number 2.
Yeah.
Are we breaking past the competition? Jennifer sharing the reports. Putting it all together. Board, is it before or after? Takers, givers. And we're on 30. What subject is it? Takers, givers. 33.
Right, so issue 30. And so it's about connecting. Is everybody remember?
I think so.
don't know that I was.
It should be the one from last week.
Oh, it's from last week?
Yeah, that's last week. We're finishing up last week. We're finishing up power session number 2. Remember, we get into power session number 2. Did you not get last week's?
That's all right.
I have
You
one.
read it all.
I have one right here. All right, so the next step is important to develop rapport with the other person. Think on this step as warming them up to you, while at the same time finding out some very valuable information about them. This process should take no more than a few minutes. Be a giver, always come from contribution. So sometimes this piece takes much longer, right? And it takes, because this I see as, they say this process should take no more than a few minutes. I think it's much more complex than that. I think you really want to understand who that person is, and in that connection process, there's an opportunity to really kind of start to bond the relationship, right? When people feel heard and feel understood, they feel security and they feel trust, right? So you're trying to make that connection so you can find out how you can help them today and how you can stay connected to them for future opportunities, right? So when you come from contribution, which I think is, it solves all problems, you always have a purpose for doing whatever it is that you always have a purpose for doing whatever it is that you are doing. Whether you are knocking on the door, sending out mailers, or calling people, no matter your script or message, what you're really saying is, I can help you get what you want, okay? And in that should be the underpinning of all of the conversations, right? You should, lead generation feels bad when you're doing it without a purpose, right? Having an open house and door knocking the neighborhood before the open house, you have a purpose. Having a first-time buyers seminar and you're contacting people, you have a purpose. So always understand. There's always a purpose, right? There's always a reason. Even if the reason is, to be relational, okay? But understand what that is going in, because that determines what your objective is, right? And your objective always is to see, is this, I can help you get what you want, but you need to let me know what that is, right? Whether it's real estate, real estate, personal, or some other form of support system, but your desire is to be a support system, whether it's door knocking in the neighborhood, saying, hey, we have this beautiful property in your neighborhood. This is an opportunity for you to choose your new neighbor, right? And friends or family that are interested in living close to you. Right? So,
Joey, any advice for having all these letters together? I feel like I'm losing touch with my clients just tomorrow. What's your advice on getting that connection more out there?
So these are people who know you already, right? It's about consistency. When you get further away from an object, the object doesn't change. You're changing, right? So you have the power to move closer to the object. And that's like your client, right? You choose to. The longer you choose not to, the further you get away from the object. So start somewhere, don't overthink it. Don't get tied to the response of that. You know what I mean? So many people are like, oh, lost touch. Okay, you have nothing to lose by doing a reconnect. A text saying, hey, I've been thinking about you a lot recently. I just wanted to check in to see how you are. You know, oh, you came up in a dream last night. How's everything? Is that creepy? All right, so, all right.
I like the, yeah, I've been thinking about you, how you doing?
Yeah.
It's quick, people don't care that you not spoken.
You're
You're the only one thinking.
They have
about it.
lives too, you know. My 19-year-old and I have been talking a lot about relationships, and because, you know, she's in her first, like, you know, relationship, and but it's even more than that. It's just, you know, she's in this hyper understanding of like, oh, women relate differently to women in relationship, and men and women, men and men, like, you know, how they respond, what they need, you know, it's like, oh, you know, I forgot to like, a friend of mine texted me on Sunday morning, and he's like, I did this already, but I could have screwed it up. You know, I'm having a party with my girlfriend this afternoon, and of course you're invited, you know, if I didn't, I'm really sorry. And it's like, I didn't hold it. It was like plans too, but it wasn't, you know,
That makes sense.
it's a non-issue, right? So a little bit of know your audience, but also just get in there and do something. Okay. So coming from contribution means caring about the customer and having genuine concern for solving their problems and meeting their needs. Truly coming from contribution will automatically warm every contact. I totally agree. So here, you know, what are some, here you have takers and givers. We went over this last week, but let's go, I think we rushed through it. So, you know, the difference between, in a relational way, you know, takers talk and givers listen, right? Takers withhold and givers offer, right? Takers look for an easy way out, and takers take pride in their work, you know. This comes through in the relational aspects of the personal relationships or professional relationships, which is, if you start to make this the metrics of the way you relate to people, you will easily relook from them.
Oh, can you pick me up at fruit?
Oh.
No free chat, just leave that right.
Oh, sorry. I don't have the prospective one. What is number
It's number 2, I know.
So one from last week.
What are you, oh, there are?
Our session 2.
Power session 2. It might be in the back.
Oh, thank you.
Respond when, you know, takers respond when they're ready, and givers respond quickly, right? You know, what you see is, you know, it's all about them, right? Takers expect you follow them, givers offer guidance, takers wing it, givers, you know, prepare, takers expect service, givers serve, and takers react, and givers anticipate. So, you know, could anybody give me an example of a relational situation where they've found themselves on either side of this equation?
Sure.
Go in there.
I had breakfast this morning with someone who is a friend of a friend who's having issues with his neighbor. And I gave him some advice and the surveyor, so that the guy would stop digging into his property. And he bought me breakfast this morning and told me there might be some old people in his neighborhood wanting to sell some.
You gotta do what you want without any expectation. And in turn, he searched for a way to help you get what you want.
And he bought me breakfast.
You got a big meal out of
I
that,
did.
right?
Always a win.
That's it. That is a fine example.
Absolutely. I'm also somebody who offers guidance that's a little busy. I don't follow it. So
Yeah, right.
let's don't kill yourself if you're a little bit of both.
if you're gonna give, if Charlotte's gonna give you advice, she does expect you to take consideration. All right.
Trouble.
It's okay, it's all right. All right, so, ask for their name, show you care, show gratitude, and offer compliments, be curious about them, introduce the topic of real estate. So these are conversational tools. Does anybody know what FORD is?
Yeah.
FORD, the acronym
And if
FORD.
you don't know it, go to bold and you will know it very well by the time you're done.
Family, occupation, recreation.
Yeah, I forgot I had that one, sorry. Occupation, recreation. So wrong address, right? These are conversational ideas. How's your family? How's work going? Any vacations planned for this summer?
And I think we do with that tone.
Yeah. It's a good sell.
Totally know who you're up against.
Yeah. So because conversation can be more difficult with some people. Conversation can be difficult with some people. Some days you're inspired, some days you're not inspired. It's great to have this tool, and it's called FORD, right? The acronym to base conversations on, right? People like to talk about themselves. This is not asking questions. This is not about you talking about yourself. Okay? It's about we're on every interaction is a journey to find out more. How can I be of service? How can I get you what you want? What's the problem to be solved? Here's some tools I have. Very straightforward, right? Conversational technique. This conversational technique will help you learn a lot of vital information about someone when you talk with them for the first time. It will also provide a comfortable structure for subsequent calls. Mrs. Harkin, a successful agent and owner of the Harkin Lifestyle, blah, 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 in Texas, is a master of connecting with people. I make lots of calls and I don't call them and say, who do you know is selling a home? I ask them about their family. I ask them about their 2-year-old. I care about what is important to them. Ask open-ended questions and listen carefully to the response. Remember the adage, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. One of the best ways to show that you care is to listen. Wait for the person to respond to your question and to be a part of the conversation. Even Pat Hilbrand, Highband, a top agent in Elliott City, Maryland, reveals that he has to remind himself to zip it up and wait and listen for the response. Gary Keller once made the statements, I never learned anything while I was talking. Listen to their answers and comments and remember to write down what you learned and your impressions after the conversation. Contemporaneous notes are so important. When you're using your database, just keep piling up those notes. It gives you an entry level for the next conversation. If you are, this is relational step number 1, right? And if you don't take any notes, then you're constantly starting at 1 again. But if you're adding understanding of people and what they're trying to do or what's going on in their lives, that you will be the most relevant. You won't have to catch up every time and start from,
Go backwards.
you go, I would say you're probably correct. Let's go to 0, -1, right? But if you reconnect at the most recent level, you're like a friend. You know what's going on in their lives. You're catching up from this point, and that can, and then again, wherever the home need comes in along that path, you're there. Okay?
Social media stalking helps that too.
Social media stalking, but take the note, put them in your profile the hell out of them. You can put as many notes as you possibly can think of in a good database. So don't forget to put the notes in, that's what I'm saying.
Does Command offer you the pin, an ability to pin something to the top of somebody's profile?
What, a tag?
No,
They call it tags.
no,
You mean
no,
like-
I mean,
you mean like
and like,
notes?
yeah,
Yeah, you can.
yeah, because that way you can kind of keep the whole thing going.
Yeah, you can put
And
those.
put the newest on the top, that way when you call them, you kind of have it all in front of you and, because over the dogs.
You mean in the notes?
Yeah, that's, because my CRM gives me a pin, so I can pin it to the note to the top, that's why I don't have to dig through, and I don't have to call, text and all of that.
Most recent.
Yeah, or you can just keep adding to it, so the details is there.
Yeah, that's really smart.
All right, let's
I had worked with I used to work in the music business, and I worked with this artist, named Susanna Hoff. She's the lead singer of the Bangles. And she had this in her brain. I don't know how she did it, but this concept that Joey's talking about was just in her head. She actually didn't write it down. And she had a very up and down career, and she would have a huge hit, and then she'd have a solo record, would do it up and down, up and down. But she would remember things about the radio program, the writers, the people that she met. And to this day, every single thing she does, those people will support her, whether it's good or not. They will give it a shot because she truly just cared and remembered. I mean, it was amazing. Like the worst song ever. They'd be like, yeah, we'll get a spin. Sure, come on in. Want your show? No.
because they like her.
Because they felt that
It's
she
not about
connected to
music,
them.
it's about her.
Yeah, she felt that and it was amazing to watch, and she did this all over the world, and I would say, how do you do this? She's like, I don't know, do you look, do you write this down, or study it before you do it? She's like, no. I mean, it was kind of mind-blowing. I've never met anybody like that was a student.
Which turned it into, yeah, let's practice a little bit. The exercise on the next page, is that in there, is that my imagination? No, let's do it. So let's break into groups of 3 because there seems to be enough. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they're not here, so take Charlotte and Moses. Or, all right, you 3, you back row 3, and you 3 here, how's that? And go through these 2 minutes. On page, what is it? 36. Yeah, 36. One person could be agent, one person could be a potential customer. One could be the observer. We'll do it in 2 minutes, and then so you're just using Ford, practice the skills, and just be curious, learn something new about the people. Yeah, those 3 in the back end, those 3 here, those 3 here.
Sorry.
Yeah, those 3 in the back end, 3 here. And just learn to, you start agent, client, observer, and then switch them up, right? And the idea is you're trying to find out something about the person, right? You're using Ford.
Oh, you guys are back. We're doing it.
That's okay, it's all right.
I'm the agent.
So I guess. I'm doing. So, Joey, how are we?
I saw on your Instagram.
But it takes 3 people. You have to read it.
originally from.
Yeah. We're not reading. So, practice the skills for approach speakers. One student will volunteer for the one student will be
Oh, yeah.
control conversation by asking 5 questions.
Yeah, did you guys get the,
Yeah. Looking back, I
mean, if we did it, what is your favorite part of the book? You don't have to be you. I mean, you can. What is your What is your favorite
I do like to
That's not you mean sitting on the what is your favorite weapon? Where is the next place you'd like to travel out of the country? That's really good. So you would say I wasn't
You also, look at the other thing, and try to find a way to help. Like, well, how can I help? How can I help?
I wasn't. Okay, just me, my question comes. I may be actually. Okay. How are you? I'm good. I'm Kevin. I fear I do. I am a test taker. Test taker. I get paid. I can't really speak about that, but yeah, my family. Going from outside. From Orange County. It is a sometimes it's all around, but you take that Not really. I mean, if I was going to follow the tenants, but even that, I'm watching for a few minutes. History,
What's something interesting that you tell me about the yard?
That is actually what I did.
Very photography. It just means that, like Thomas Burton, we have a lot of. We also have Jesuits. You know, there's something for everybody.
Yeah, I think that's what makes my great. And also very, yeah, so something. Yeah, it's pretty rare. I think it's very. The weather is great.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. Yeah. Oh, you did, yeah. I would make up a really yeah, I mean, in general.
All right, let's move the conversation forward a little bit. You guys all get a chance to kind of be on your side, observer, agent, prospect, right? These are the people we've approached. We're now trying to connect with them. What did you learn? Did you learn something about the person? Did you feel like you connected? And learned, right? It's not very much to even Troy. You found
So
something.
he was the observer. What did you
No,
observe?
yeah.
Me too.
He's laughing.
It's a silent, strong life. That's great. We got an honor.
What did you observe?
Very nice conversation.
There are two people who know each other peripherally, right?
Yeah.
We know of each other, and they've been in the same social or business environment. Did they take that to the next level? Did they find some connection,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That they didn't know before,
Yeah, exactly.
right? Yeah.
Star says she cannot unmute and participate.
Yeah, the unmuting part is not, sorry, unfortunately, we can't really get you in here right now. I wonder why that is. I'll try to get Tati. So you can jump in. Hey, of course, Tati's gone. I'll try in a minute, Star. Try and say something, Star.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yep. I can hear you.
Oh, no, that's okay. No worries.
I can hear you. Anyway, so we're approaching people. We're connecting with them. We understand the elements of connection. Trying to be of service, asking questions, trying to understand who they are, what they need. And then it's very simply, you want to get to the ask, which is really, hey, are you or someone you know thinking of buying or selling or investing in real estate in the near future? So there's different ways to say that, right? And that's not a particularly offensive way. There's different moments to say that. When you're asking about someone, when you are inquiring, the natural reflex is for them to want to know a little bit about you, right? And when they do, that is the opportunity to just, that could be an opportunity to start that conversation of, I'm in real estate. Oh, how's the real estate market? And a lot of people go to statistics, right? We discussed last week. But I'd say also a lot of people, it's in that moment, it's an opportunity for you to tap into the emotional side of what we do. And it's always great to have a opportunity is what I think it's called, right? And that means that it's a property that you've seen recently, that you're a little excited about, that could relate to them, could not relate to them, but it's a conversation where you could share your passion about the product, not the process, not yet the market condition, but the product is an area that you can really you should always have a opportunity in your pocket to talk about. Oh my God, I just saw this house. It was Greta Garbo lived there, and they still had the fountain and this and that, whatever, details, because you're so passionate about it. And then it's like, would you be interested in buying that house? Would you love to live there? Oh, where do you live? How long have you lived there? Do you love that neighborhood? And then you start to go down a rabbit hole about them, and it's like, oh, are you thinking about buying or selling this year? It's a tough market out there. Do you know of anybody else who's trying to buy or sell this year? If you keep it, you definitely want to keep it on the conversational end of it all, right? Does that make sense? What we're all, what oftentimes the reluctance in asking is all about that, like, ooh, I don't want to sell like that. I don't want to be too salesy. I don't want to put them on. But if you're someone who is passionate about the product and the process, then you don't have to get weighed down with that. You're not selling anything, right? You're just sharing who you are with another person. So getting out of the humility piece is about sharing something that you believe they would like to hear about, right? So I would encourage you all. So it says, remember that asking is a numbers game. If the answer to the question is no, don't despair. You may have to get through a lot of those. You will have to get through a lot of those, right? Because not everybody needs to buy or sell real estate right now. That's not the exercise, right? It's to service the willing and to be of service to the people who don't have a need for your services today, right? You still have to find a way to help them because they might know a little old lady on the street who's going to sell, right? To Charlotte's point, right? So and no only means no now, right? It doesn't mean no forever. Right? So get out of the psychological burden of rejection as easily as you can, right? Because it gets you nothing. And it really has no meaning, it just means I don't need to buy or sell real estate right now, which is mostly everybody you know and they don't know us. Yes, in fact, every no is the path to a yes. And if you ask more times, you will get yes more often. If you don't invest much in the answer, it will make it easier to ask, right? I agree. And remember that even if a person says no, they may still give you a referral. And in Kokosko, she created MAPS coaching. She says, I always ask my question at least 5 times in a conversation. Each time my question is worded in a slightly different way. And guess what? I almost always get them to respond with a yes. I'm not quite sure what that means, but I know that, you either need to buy or sell real estate, or you don't need to buy or sell real estate, or you know someone who's buying or selling real estate, or you don't know. So yeah, yes, some people need some space and time and effort to search for opportunities that they don't have themselves. They might know somebody, but if you're going to go to that length, then make sure you give people time to respond, right? They will respond. Like, they're comfortable for a moment or two, but if you're comfortable, if you get them comfortable with silence to get there. So asking for business, an appointment, or referral, clearly state what you want. Here's some examples here on page 30, 38 or so. How to ask.
How to ask, 38, yeah.
38, right, there you go. Thank them for their consideration, whether they answer yes or no, right? So who would like to just role play this real quickly? All right, you're the agent, so go ahead.
I'm available and would love to show you that house that you're interested in. Would this afternoon at 3 p.m. work for you, or would 4 p.m. be better?
Okay, another one.
Okay. Please let your friends and family know that I would be honored to help them with all of their real estate needs.
Right.
With all their real estate needs.
So is that no? So, these are just examples of the statements that you integrate or questions that you integrate into a larger conversation. Like, you're not calling up and you're not walking up to everybody in the party and saying, please let your friends and family know that I would like, I'd be honored to help them. Do you or anyone you know need to buy or sell real estate this year? And and then follow up, they say no, and then follow up, please let your friends and family know. I shoot myself, right? And then the second part of this that I think is really, really important is you want to lead every conversation with the next step. Even if that next step is benign as, hey, it would be okay if I sent you my monthly newsletter. It's got great it's got great recipes. I love cooking, and if you share something or in common, it always has a hot tip about my dog or whatever it is you're passionate about, right? And some real estate, right? So that's a great way to also get their information, and which is the next one. Remember that the true prospect is one that you have contact information for and permission to contact. Low bar, right? Many top agents believe you only need a name and a phone number to begin with. Always put the contact information in your contact tracking software and put these leads immediately on a marketing action plan, smart plan. Refer to power session number 4, which we're going leveraging the powerful contact database to the full advantage of your database. Remember that it is more important for you to get their contact information than for you to give yours. Okay.
Here's my part.
We all have, right? We think, because it's less confrontational, right? I'm not asking for anything from you, but if you you in the connection find some way of helping them, it's like, oh, you need a vet, I have the greatest vet possible. Send me, text me right now, and I'll send you their contact information.
Yeah.
Make it easy, right? You know, Charlotte is, oh, I have a surveyor for you, and you know, and I hope you said, and follow up with me after. I'm really curious as to how this, you know, all pans out. You have any more questions, for sure, and feel free to call me. But in addition, you know, if you don't, could you do me a favor and let me know how it all works out? Because you know, I learn, and I'm very curious about all these things.
Yeah.
Right? It's, you say you want to stay connected to that process. So getting your contact information, what's the next step? These are all the construct of a professional connection, right? Right. Yeah.
Quick one about the next step. So here's the mistake I've made with friends, getting them to a lender. I say, they want to buy, so I'm like, okay, I'll send you the 2 lenders. They follow up. Oh, I'm not ready to talk to the lender. So I think I'm going to change my approach to, I'm going to give your contact to the lender and have the lender call them. So that way they can't, the lender can kind of get to them instead of, so
Is
they
it
don't back out.
okay? Is
Is
it
it
okay if I give my lender partner your information for them to contact
That's
you?
what I should offer first, so, because if you give them the lender's information, then they don't call. So, thank
That's a
you.
different conversation because the answer is the same. A lot of people just don't want to give up their financial information unless they found the house that they want. So depending on your relationship with them, you can either let them find that house, then try to get free or potentially lose it in the process. Some people have to learn that way. on their
Yes.
own,
Okay.
But you just need to advise them that, you know, I'd like to be able to help you. But if you're not free to find a house of your dreams, you're not really prepared to lose that house, so we're not purchasing power.
Yeah,
That because unfortunately, a lot of people function that way because
Yeah.
there's so little that they see that they like, that they're just not gonna give up their financial information until.
You'll apply for a credit card online. But there was, Charlotte's absolutely correct. And part of that is another part of our job, which is being an educator.
oh, not
So it's like-
pushing them.
I understand
Okay.
your consternation on wanting to start the lending process, right? It's very, very convoluted. It's very, you know, it's very invasive, all those things. But let me talk it out with you a little bit so you know what to expect, right? Yes, you know, what they can do. There are 3 different levels of approval, right? One is conversational, and they'll ask you how much you make. They'll ask you some questions about your debt service. They'll ask you some questions about, you know, about your job. That's just a pre-approval.
Pre-qual.
Pre-qual. That's a pre-qualification. It's, you know, it's enough to get you a letter that says, hey, I'm willing to lend Melanie this amount of money based on the information I have. But with the caveat that all of this other documentation is necessary. Then there's the next level where you give them social security number, they do a credit check on you, a little bit more. And that is basically doing 80% of the work, and you know, giving them access to bank accounts and bills and debt, and you know, basically P&L.
But isn't it sort of a difference if you ask or it's volunteer? Because when I talk to a lot of people, they volunteer like about the loan situation, pre-qualification. That's a lot of things that come up to me. I don't even bring it up, and they bring it up to me.
Yeah, well, because that's what holds the most mystery for them,
Yeah.
right? And you're not a lending professional. You're just laying out the roadmap to the most, like the next step, like what does that look like? It's not just saying, oh, have you talked to a lender? If not, oh, I have a lender for you. You're still in the dark. Most people are still in the dark what the process is. So you go, pre-qual, pre-approval, commitment to loan, right? They're the three basic levels, and each of them go a little deeper under the covers, right? And so, I think kind of demystifying some of that and being the person who delivers that information gives you an opportunity to go a little deeper and build a little more value with them. The next level is, oh, well, I'm not going to buy for a year.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Well, I mean, but
And I say what you told me, Joey, I say, well, it takes a year to educate yourself and plan this out and get prepared to, so when you find that out, once you're ready. And that kind of helps, keep them looped in.
Do you ask why they don't decide?
Yeah, I do. And a lot of the times it's like, oh, I'm changing jobs, or I'm waiting for a raise, or,
Saving up for down payment.
yeah, I'm saving up the
Well, that's
asking
great. That's
parents. Yeah, and I put that in the notes.
so you talk to someone
Yeah.
and you know how much you need to save to have certain, what your buying power is now, what your buying power to be in 10 months when you start looking for your property, looking for your house that you want to be in a year, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you back it out. It's 30 days, right? And 30-day escrow. It's 60 days to find a place, right? Make offers and find a place. It's and then it's then your 3 months. What is that? You got 9 months here to get your buying power strength, right?
So if one person in the marriage does get a raise, then they go back to the lender and say, hey, I got a raise, and then they adjust the loan, right? And it's not that hard to change that around? Or is that
No,
all-
once you have
all
all
the
the
paperwork?
paperwork, it's not, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would argue it'll take, you back this up another 30 days to get the paperwork in.
Okay.
Right, unless you're doing it when you're in. But here you have much more buying power. So it really, this 60 days could be 120 days in this market, or it could be a year looking for a property, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, our market's weird. I gotta say, we have a lot of referral partners around the country, and a lot of people have to buy. They have to, if they're selling something, they have to buy something. They're moving to a place for a new job, they have to buy a house. Our market's weird. People don't have to buy anything here. They can rent. The payment is likely lower than what they're going to pay on a mortgage for the same thing. And it's your job to educate them as to why to buy, what's the good reason to buy. And some people can be educated and some people can't. Not that people are going to tell you, oh, I'm looking in I got a call the other day, I'm looking in the 60 to 100,000 range. Great. Why did you pick that number? They're literally picking these numbers out of their ass. They don't, it's not based on anything. And when you're talking about, maybe they got approved 2 years ago for that, that number's half now. If they got approved 2 years ago.
But what really surprises me, Charlotte, because I talk to a lot of people.
Yeah.
That these are not like, students. These are people who are working like serious jobs. And then they randomly tell me this number, oh, I'm looking 900,000. And I'm like, why?
They don't know.
It's a feeling, they feel, they're emotional. They're
No,
not.
and they talked to they filled out something somewhere
Right.
at some point and told them that. Or that's what they like. Could be.
They did a mortgage calculator online or something.
No, they are doing like, oh, if you find a deal, call me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right, look, there's.
This is my list. Oh, it's you.
Well, and to trust what the deal looks like in Los Angeles, and what it compared to a deal in Nashville, compared to a deal in Philadelphia, compared to a deal in Kansas City. is much different, right? A deal here is paying, market value, right? That's, a deal.
The deal here is just buying your property.
Yeah,
You have to start with
Every day in, day out,
Yes.
you all get this. Hi, do you have any discounted multi-fam or SFR deals in Southern California? We offer cash, you can close in 10 to 15 days. We offer 1% extra commission, blah, blah, blah. And it's always the first day. I now have a template that I copy and paste. Please provide the following information. I'd be happy to add you to my list of investors. If you're looking to start an exclusive relationship with an agent, I'd be happy to discuss. that.
Yeah.
Full name, email, phone number, areas of interest, budget for purchasing. Never hear from me.
Not one.
It's either that or stop. I used to just do stop, and now I'm like, hey, maybe one of these people is.
Agreed. Yeah, they're just throwing shit up against the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah, you
no
get-
problem, but it's, and you guys, you're gonna get that, and you're gonna get suckered into one of these people, they're gonna call you, you're gonna think they're your client, and they've called every single person in this room. So just, be aware of it, these conversations make more sense.
Yeah, calling them on it, like, every once in a while, I'll just, call
Yeah, okay. But then you can turn into Christina and actually develop real relationships with these people. But I think you're concerned about them not wanting to talk to an agent. That level of pre-qualification, if you're hesitant about giving out your financial information, you can get pre-qualified. It's not a full pre-approval, so it doesn't carry as much weight. So you can at least talk to a lender and get pre-qualified, so you have a better understanding of what you're purchasing.
them. The most-
Without giving up, without actually providing
Absolutely.
financials if you're not.
This is a very good point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So at least they can start.
All right, there are three ways to connect, right? Calling, visiting, or open houses, right? There are so many ways that you can get in front of people in real estate. The key is you have to simply get in front of them. You have to take the time and effort to do this, however that is for you, okay? If it's having a dinner party once a week, if it's doing open houses, if it's cold calling, whatever it is, it has to be some way of you getting in harm's way of relationship. So whichever method you choose to connect with people, the secret is to do it consistently for a long time. When I first started in the business, said Mary Beth Harrison here, I got all my clients from phone calls and hosting open houses. I did not have a computer, so I kept track of everyone on 3x5 index cards. If you were one of my contacts, I called you until you told me I could not call you again. Until you had bought a house or you died.
It's so creepy though, when somebody dies who's in your database.
Oh, I know.
So,
And you didn't know?
yeah, you know, right?
Happened to me last week.
Ouch. All right, so calling. Getting comfortable with calling. Most agents have little trouble using the phone to tend to current business to service existing customers by exchanging information. However, some have reluctance about prospecting by phone. Now more than ever, preparation is your friend. Knowing who to call, when to call, and what to say, and being ready to call will reduce any call reluctance you may have. So, once you get your command set up or any comparable database or CRM, it's going to give you a list of people to call today, because you're going to have them on a smart plan that has you calling them consistently over time, right? So getting comfortable with calling, know who to call, know when to call, and know what to say. Be ready to call. So those first two, the system will do for you. Set it up properly, right? When, who, and when, right? And know what to say is, I would say, you start where you left off, right? Going back to the steps that if you take good notes, then you will know where you're following up, what the end point of your last conversation was. And if there was some action item from the last conversation, you have in your notes, you've actually completed that action item, right? So.
I have a little tip I just want to share with everybody. In the contact section, I just like pull up their contacts and I go to notes and I just do a quick copy talk. Like if I don't have command right in front of me, and then I dictate all the notes, and then I remember it.
Sure.
It's right in the contacts. So.
Level up from there is
Yeah.
you download the command app and you
And then
can
you can do it
administrate
that way
everything
straight up.
directly into
Thank
the
you.
contact. Yeah. So you know who to call. Here's a list here, but not exclusive to. Is expired listings, dispos, referrals, IVR inquiries, website inquiries, Mets, not Mets, people in your database. Many great prospectors are very particular about who they call and in what order. Those who choose to go after the quickest business call expired listings and dispos first every morning. The idea is these are people who have already raised their hand wanting to sell. And so they're also they're not for the faint of heart.
Hey, I'm working on a FISBO referral.
Well, that's different. You have it's a warm lead. Yeah.
$20 million FISBO.
Somebody's looking they can sell themselves.
It's an interesting process.
Other agents have been approached in Rivers, Tallahassee, for example, regularly prospects to their past customers for repeat business and referrals. Martin also calls his current sellers each week. This has turned into a great prospecting tools. Our sellers tell other sellers about our calls, and it drives expired listings to us. And so, I'll never forget that Megan came around the reunion one day. One time I was watching this top producer. This guy closes like 300 to 400 deals in a population city of less than 1 million, right? And it's sold surrounding areas and outlying areas, but still, he's a huge fish in a very, very small pond. And and he was, when I say this, it's not, I don't mean to be judgmental, but he was incredidly uneventful. Right?
It's not somebody you want to have a drink with.
No, not at all. Only because I'm curious as to his success, right? But he basically, told me he's a straightforward salesperson. And he started the conversation with his clients, his listing clients, very early in the process. Well, from the listing appointment, a few times during the process, and then at the end, he says to them, by the end of this journey, this sales process, you're going to give me one referral lead.
What's his name?
He looked like Frank Purdue. He was just like some little guy didn't fit very well. Yeah, and it's just like, and
He's
I
a
heard
great
it as well. It's like 400 deals in a year, he's monster. So many agents call expired. So we're going to go through what these actually are, right? The expired listings and FISBOs. Many agents call expired listings and FISBOs because these types of people are often the quickest way to business because they have already expressed their need to sell. They may not be the easiest, but with planning and practice, they can be a great source of leads. If you're interested in calling or expired listings and for sale by owners as a lead generation strategy, please refer to Power Session 8, FISBOs and expires, which we will go on to, right? And again, without going too deep into FISBOs and expires, expired is when they had a listing and it did not sell. And FISBO was for sale by owner, okay? And that's, so if you can imagine the profile, the psychological profile, the personality profile of a FISBO is somebody who believes they can do a better job than a professional, that it doesn't take any special skills or knowledge to sell their own property.
Or they say they have a real estate attorney to help them do the contract and stuff. How do you combat that one? You don't.
We'll
Okay.
have those conversations in this section,
Oh,
but first you have to decide, Melanie, if you want that business, okay?
love that.
Right? It's a very specific, machine. It's a very specific mindset. It's a very specific conversation. It's a very specific process. You are getting someone who believes they could be perceived, that oftentimes are difficult to someone, to a real estate professional, because they're making up their own rules and with their own information, right? And then there's expireds and withdrawals. And so expireds and withdrawals are properties that were on the market, did not sell. But if a property was on the market, in our market and did not sell, what are some of the reasons why they would not sell? The price is one reason. What else? Probably the most. Could
An
be
expensive foundation issue or like fixing up the house. They don't want to do.
it's value
Yeah.
to in relationship to condition, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
How
Right.
much will
So
it cost to
condition could
repair it
definitely
or not?
absolutely right. Condition.
Not enough exposure, make sure.
Marketing,
Not
absolutely,
flash,
yeah, not marketing properly. And so, these are, so in that, there's two people who can be the links, it could be the seller, or it could be the agent, right? A little easier conversation to identify, what, how was your, if you're calling it expireds, it was, why do you think your house did not sell? Right, that's the question you want to know first, right? I'm here to help. I have clients looking in this area. Why is it, I find it curious that you didn't sell your house. Why is it that you believe it didn't sell? Well, they're never going to say the truth, but that doesn't mean it's their truth that you need to understand, because it's their truth that you need to contend with, right? It doesn't matter what the true answer is. You want to learn why they think it is. So again, without going into too deep, each of those has its very, very specific conversations. And you're going from the only advantage is that they've already raised their hand and said, we want to sell property, right? Now, how to get in a relationship with them is much more difficult, because now you're chasing a relationship that is with somebody that, is a child.
Did we go over, I might have missed it, did we go over, like, if you find an expired listing on the MLS, and then there's the agent?
Oh, we're just talking about the categories.
Oh, okay.
There's a whole section for expired solutions,
Okay.
for instance, there's section 3.
Okay.
So referrals are a rich source of business, and as a matter of fact, many agents have built successful businesses around referrals. Remember the statistics from earlier, that 40 to 44% of buyers and sellers use the agent who has referred them, or they are referred to. Remember that referrals come not only from Mets, but from having Mets as well. This agent had said she achieved her goal of being famous in her town when people she didn't know called her. That was a referral. And when people called and I didn't even know who referred them, that's when I knew I had achieved fame. Yep. Once you get a referral, you will always want to call the potential customer as quickly as possible. When introducing yourself to the potential customer, remember to reference the person who referred you. Then call to thank the person who referred you. Learn more about generating that and working with vets and non-vets. You know, the one canon rule about a referral is you want to reward the action of referring, right? So acknowledge the referral partner, the person who gives you the referral. Thank them, send them a little handwritten card, send them a Starbucks card or a coffee. You know, it doesn't have to be a huge gesture. It has to be a gesture and a personal gesture, right? Because you want them to continue to refer. You don't want to wait until the deal closes or that person chooses to work with you. You want them to keep pushing your name out there. And you give a little scoopy snack to show them that. Yep. IVR inquiries, interactive voice response systems offer. No one in here is going to use a robocall. That's what I've learned. Okay.
They don't even work that well.
They
because
don't.
another-
It's antiquated. It's
I
antiquated.
actually responded to them because I have agents sending me robo-text. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, I'm also an agent. How are
Robotext is different.
And then they don't even respond.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, my father who's passed, and he's been for quite a while, and we share the same name.
Oh.
And I get and my stepfather owned a house, or still own a house in New Jersey, and I get texts probably once or twice a week. Yes, Mr. Sacavitch, are you interested in selling your property, 118 Vassar? You know, I stop. I put you're confusing me with my dead father. I've written a million things.
I put let's meet for coffee and maybe we'll
Yeah, they're in New Jersey.
do an open house
Yeah, that's not
together.
what I think personally, but knock yourself out. They're in New Jersey. Website inquiries. Most agents today are using the website to display their listings as well as many other communications. Recently, there has been some debate about these website inquiries. Are they true leads, or are they suspects for next year?
This is from 2015, by the way.
Oh, yeah, so let's talk about website leads, right? Getting them a little bit, and so
This could sort of fall into the social media
yeah,
category now.
the social
though, I
media
think.
piece is really, I think, where it's driven. Websites, it's important for you to have a website. Okay, that would give you my personal opinion, right? It's important for you to have a website.
KW gives you one for free.
It gives you a great WordPress website that has all the functions. But let's not over-aggrandize our importance in that process. People want to get to information. They want to get to the houses. They want to, and you want them to get to the houses. You want them to get to the houses whether they're ready to buy now or buy later. You want to be the portal for them to be looking at houses, right? So you want them to be able to get to it as quickly as possible, and you want the process to be as streamlined as possible. You know, the searching, easy searchability and easy access to really, really good information. And you can be that under your brand, right? But they don't really care much. Or your bio, unless it's being used for the second aspect, secondary aspect is validation, right? So you have two people who go to your website. One is looking for properties and your access to properties, which you can deliver, and the other is they are thinking about being in business with you and they want to validate it more. So
I had a good educational thing. A lot of people, especially in this market, want to get into luxury. By luxury, over So they post these really expensive houses all the time on their social media, on their websites, they focus on that, they focus on that. I had a friend.
22 million,
One of my-
120 million.
Yeah, one of my referral partners in San Diego referred a client to one of my other referral partners in Asheville, North Carolina. And they were just kind of normal people, cash heavy, and they wanted to buy a house for 400, 600,000 in Asheville, it was a house. And they really liked friend number one. They never even called friend number two, because when they looked at her social media and they looked at her website, it was so heavily designed for luxury, and that's what she was chasing, second homes and vacation rentals and stuff like that. They said, we don't think she's gonna pay enough attention to us. So it's, when he's talking about validation, and that's fine if that's what she wants and that's only what she wants.
That's manifestation, yeah.
But, well, and she does do a lot of that, and maybe it was the right call for these people, but just keep it in mind when you're presenting yourself in these formats, that people are gonna look to it for that validation. And if they're not seeing a connection to you there, they may not make that call, even if they got a referral from somebody else. So it was just, this just came up last week, and I was like, really kind of, because I see so many agents doing this, the sexy clothes and $20 million house, and they never sold anything.
Yeah.
Agreed. I see it over and over and over again. You know,
They're
and,
only fans girl.
yeah, I have an agent who I used to do business with, and, you know, it was like, Caroline loved luxury. She was all about it. It was her whole brand. And so, Caroline, do that. You know, just, you know, you're posting all this stuff about LVMH and this and that, your new handbag. So just do that in front of the house, you know. And she took that to heart, and she did it in front of houses for the last 5 years. She has an immense following. She doesn't do much
I'm sure
business.
she gets a lot of dates. I would never hire her.
She moved to Miami. Just
There you go.
That's up, right? All right. So yes, websites are important. Understand what they're important for. They are not a replacement for prospecting. Okay, they're not more important than, you know, oh, I gotta get my website up first before I can go out and door knock, before I can let my friends know, before I can. There's everything you could do. You could do everything before you get your website set up, right? And then, you know, get your website set up. Right? It's not that big a deal, right? Scott Leroy and Ethan can help you do that very, very easily. Email as a prospecting tool. Although email is not a direct contact form of prospecting, it can be used effectively to establish relationships with potential customers. Once someone has contacted you through your website, you have their email address and their permission to respond to them. Therefore, you have the opportunity to make the most out of the method of contact. In your email, make the email's subject lines clear and keep your message brief and relevant. Brief and relevant. Did I say brief? Okay, if you're confronting a new relationship with a block of text, you're going to lose them 90% of the time.
So even with the bio,
Ask one more time.
even with the bio,
A bio in your email?
oh, no, not that email. A
No,
bio.
we're talking about emails now. Yeah, no, you should have a bio.
Some people are readers and some people are not.
Yeah.
Joey is not, so take that as a grain of salt.
Right, no, it's
I'm not
true.
either.
But here's the other thing is a person that I don't know, so I'm not a reader, but if Charlotte sends me something, I'm gonna read it, right? Okay, and if somebody I just met sent me something, higher chance that I'm not gonna read.
Do you guys get Andy's weekly movement mortgage thing?
No.
You should get on her list. She does the reading thing without video. I think the way they do it is very good because
Break
it's
it up.
it's like a headline almost. It's like 3 or 4 lines sort of, and then it's a read more. So it's not this huge block of text that's overwhelming. So if you're not somebody who wants to do video of everything you're saying or whatever, it's just an alternate way.
I agree.
Because if they're interested in that subject, it'll draw them in and then let them.
That works for me.
It's your daily or weekly?
She does it weekly. I think it comes out on Mondays. Plus, it's really good information for you to have.
Yes.
She keeps you up to date on what's going on with the Fed and mortgages and
You can just
stuff.
subscribe to your website.
I don't know. I thought she just had everybody on it, but
I was on it for a while and
Yeah, I
then
used to be.
something happened.
maybe you accidentally unsubscribed.
Oh, no.
You
It's not a
say,
pain.
you say no, but it's possible.
Sometimes you just have a day where
So
you
something
go.
like this.
Yeah. Yeah,
You have
exactly.
A little bit of teaser, click for more. Oh, and then.
Picture.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, her video.
See, it looks, so for hers, it looks
Yeah.
like this.
Okay.
So it's just a little bit,
I like that.
and then you can go deeper into it.
Nice.
And she said she has a really high, open rate and click-through rate.
So, again, Charlotte may, will probably push up against this. But the 33 touch, the more you touch a person, the more they feel connected to you. Whether they open up her email or they don't open up her email, they see, that's why headlines are really important, or a clear headline in the title of the email, because if it's possible that they, they're not gonna open it, right? At least that they know that Charlotte's, market update, monthly newsletter, I like market update, it's a little more descriptive. But they're there.
Well, I've done 2 in 3 years.
So the point is.
No, you're absolutely right. I'm not going up against it at all.
Consistently, do it consistently. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be, a publishable tome every month. You just have to get something out there. They have to see, they have to know you're in business, right? A business would send out, so how much, well, they have a whole staff, I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole. Just send out the emails, right? Just set up smart plans and get Ethan, for any of you who are just starting out, Ethan's created a smart plan for all of you. Just put it in the lieu of anything else, but just start with that, okay? Right, and then you can supplement with, inside your groups. The way this is where I believe that, I don't know if they go in deeper to this, but we'll go in a little deeper in, hashtags and groups are really, really important, right? Because if you have, if you're with Ethan's smart plan, and I think it's a 32, I think it's a 32 touch smart plan, right? There's calls, there's emails, and under emails, there's probably, you got a monthly newsletter that goes out, right? And then I would do a hashtag email, and that would be, or hashtag / group email, right? So that would be, this is an opportunity to have a conversation in a more focused way. These are, what are some possible groups? Let's see, dog lovers, USC alum, it just goes on and on and on, right? Neighbor. And so just imagine that, like once a month, you're able to, or a couple times a year, how many, ever it is, you're able to create some kind of special supplemental email to all your people who love dogs. Or the USC alum, right? Maybe there's a calendar that comes out once a month with USC local alum things, or you run a thing, and what are you guys going through the mixer or the booster, whatever they call it. I was never what's that?
Class reunion.
Yeah, class reunion, all of those things.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
and then-
interesting. I was listening to a podcast the other day that was all about emails and targeting. It's kind of overwhelming, but getting that problem doing it.
Yeah.
But it was about it when you do these tags and stuff, it makes the person feel like the email is really specifically to them, as opposed to more generic and develops that.
The more focused
relationship.
conversation you can have with them. So so that's why I really encourage you to, put people in groups and hashtag so that you can cross collateralize across all of your, and have focused conversations. And
Do you know anybody that's doing this, that that's doing really
Taking
emails
advantage.
like in a really effective manner?
an effective
feels like
way or a high
class to me.
level, right?
Yeah.
Because the question is, if you just take the 32 and you just send it out, you're gonna get something, right? But if you're able to elevate this, yes, but not in our business. People I get those emails, those focus emails all the time. That speak specifically to me, right? I get a text from Google's once a week, right? Telling me, there's a few more men's things are on sale, at this, right? They direct to me specifically in the things that I like. Or, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's what
This
you're creating.
podcast was
You're
really
creating-
interesting. I
you're
just didn't know if there was
creating
anybody. I just haven't seen this kind of focus from any.
Well, you're creating the data
Mhm.
to use, in lieu of an algorithm. It's the same basic thing.
Because realistically, if you're good at this
Database.
and you're hyper focused and giving people real value, they'll open it every week.
Yeah. Especially if it's about something they really like and they care about, right? And they can relate to, right? And that's why I always get into the shared passion piece of it, like what are you involved in the world and how do you share that, If it's, people do business with people with shared belief systems. Yeah, that could be spirituality, that could be dogs, it could be alumni, it could be geographic, it could be cultural, it could be a million different things. It could be model cars, it could be,
Getting rid of
flying
that city
plane.
policy.
What's that?
Getting rid of that city policy.
Yeah, that's
There you go. You can absolutely find some friends, but you have to once you do the work, once you're putting it in, you call somebody and you find out that they love dogs, right? Or they went to the same college, or they grew up in Philadelphia, or right? So you start adding those hashtags so that, and putting them in categories as your relationship and your understanding of them grows. And this way, and then using that information to communicate that data to communicate with them, right?
Well, the podcast was really interesting because it was talking about like social media versus email and how social media is great for like the website, like we're like a referral. They'll check you out and they'll want to look at all what you post. But as far as actual real information that people are getting out of it, one, are they seeing it? It's minimal. It's probably 2 to 5%, sort of like direct mail, whereas targeted email is more of a 30% connection rate, which I don't know, I found that interesting. And like I said, I don't do it, but I think it's probably a difference.
And what is the one with Ethan that has? Is it like market update or?
You talking to me?
We set up a 32 touch, so it's a smart plan. You can just
This
Can't
is
you
a smart plan,
Yeah.
so, but you're focused on creating a special email for all of your tags and groups per month, right? And so to Charlotte's point, this is your client, right? Or potential client, this is your.
It's like the Venn diagram of interest.
So where, right, it's social media, you got emails, you have, and then inside of emails, you have, dogs, you have, a million different, likes there, and so they're all driving to connection, right? Calls, text, but they're all like making this connection greater and greater and greater. They can drive to each other and vice versa, right? They can, and you answer questions, you get purpose on calls and you answer them with emails or with text, and they're just all tools inside of your relationship to bond this relationship even more. They all work together. All right, now we're gonna go to the concept of the mess, right? And so you'll learn more about working with mess, and specifically the importance of calling them as part of the regular contact plan in Power Session 5, working with mess, and these are people you know who do. The more calls you make, the more times you'll be in the right place at the right time. Like I drew out that in that the lifeline of the client. You don't know where they're going to buy or sell real estate. You want to be consistently present all the way through, and that's why consistency is so important. Consistency of messaging, consistency of interaction, consistency of value.
And don't assume, because don't ever assume someone's going to use you, please. I stole a client from somebody just by totally random. I had a client looking to get into school. This woman was very active. She was kind of a friend, but not a close friend, very active in that school. And I said, I called her to see if she knew any, had any pull to help my other clients get their kid into the school. Nothing to do with real estate. They were facing foreclosure. She's freaking out. I need to talk to you about selling the house. We were going to go with so-and-so who had been cultivating her in the neighborhood for years and had blown up 4 appointments with her because she assumed she was going to get the listing.
Wow.
So it's just don't assume.
Yeah.
I mean, you can imagine the news cycle, the 24 hours news cycle. It comes in, it goes out, it comes in, it goes out. There's just more. My brain is like a Craigslist ad, which maybe some of you don't even know what Craigslist is, right? Craigslist says you post to sell something, and it's at the top of the list until the next person posts to sell something, and the next, and in 15 minutes later, you're 10 posts down. A day later, you are irrelevant.
But it was just because she blew them off. She would have, the point is that she said, and she doesn't hate me, strangely enough, but she knew she screwed up because she had canceled 4 appointments because she was so busy and just assumed they were going to go with her.
Yeah, and you can't, and don't get, but that is a direct, like negligence, right? I mean, but there's tons of indirect negligence. It's not you're not being responsible and staying connected to your database, the people you know you. That's like not having a working database. Not communicating with your database. All of those things, are an excuse when we find out that somebody just bought a house. It's not their responsibility to find you. It's your responsibility to stay connected and to be of value to them. So you can't get butthurt when that happens, you know, it's not, they're not a bad person for not using you, okay? You're not doing your job properly by not staying relevant. Now, if you are, they are.
Then they are.
Right, that's it, right? That's an easy call. All right, so the mess are people you know and who know you. Know when to call them, right? The daily habit of calling prospects should be done during your 3 hours of lead generation. That's calling, that's texting, that's having coffee, that's prospecting. Okay, sending them an email is not prospecting. Okay. Right, I'm just saying,
Replying to one is though, maybe?
what?
Replying to an email maybe is?
Replying to someone's email? No, just call them. I mean, if you're filling an order, whatever. Yes, semantics, but yes. And so it's your job to stay connected to these people. It's your job, right? And then then you move on to the cold versus warm versus hot. You have likely heard calls for leads characterized by temperature. A hot lead are the easiest to contact because the person is ready, willing, and able to transact business. They need your help, and you have the solution. Warm leads, that's an A client, I'd say. Then warm leads are those who have made either to people you know or people who you have received or to people who have received one of your marketing pieces. These are relatively easy calls to make because you have a reason for calling. And then the cold call are for those calls that are made to people you don't know at all, and very few agents make your cold calls. So that's just the truth of it. Our guest uses this approach. I answer every lead. The hottest lead always gets called first at any time. And I use a disposition sheet with codes. If it's orange, it's hot. If it's yellow, it's warm. If it's white, it's less than hot. Less than warm. I go from hottest to coldest, right? Continues. I don't do cold calls. I do warm calling. That means he returns calls from signs, ads, and calls those people who inquired through the website. Okay. Do not call list the DNC. Be very vigilant to the DNC list. If you're receiving numbers from anyone, like if you're receiving numbers from any kind of service, they will identify which of those are on the DNC list. If any of your clients ask to be removed from the calling, you will remove them from the calling, right? They can remove themselves from the now. Know what to say when you call people. To be clear, that it's a business call to talk about real estate and your business in an effective way. It doesn't mean it has to lead with that. It means that you want to act like a business person and in that conversation, right? So being able to answer the questions and objections of those you call is crucial to establishing an image as a professional real estate agent in the minds of your customers. Internalizing your scripts through regular practice will make phone calling more natural and give you confidence necessary to actively seek out new customers. The more proficient I get at my scripts, the more comfortable I get on the phone. In order for you to get more proficient with the scripts, reference the CAMP 443 script cards and audio scripts. There are tons of scripts on KW Connect, okay? Or KWU, same thing. sellers, working with buyers, working, working with prospects. There's just tons. If you're joining, which I encourage all of you to get into Bold, you will get some scripts with them. Bold session number 1, you should all be in. Okay, it costs nothing. You should all be signed. As far as I'm concerned, you should all be signed up for the total Bold. I have pathways to support that in any way, shape. You're going to miss one, doesn't matter. You need this if you're interested in doing business. Number 1, in the first step to Bold, you're going to be making calls and you're going to be looking for referrals and leads. Okay, so this is the key to you being successful in this moment and building the framework for successful business in the future. All right, knowing what to say is about knowing what question they want answered. Okay, doing a needs analysis and moving on to answering those questions and finding out how you can be of service. Don't spend more than 2 minutes on a phone call. 1 minute is better. Begin with, I want to let you know. Call someone. Okay. All right, be ready to call, and that's creating an environment that supports your calling, right? That it is that you have the scripts that you need, you have the supportive, you're in your database, you're working your database, and you are in a protected environment, right? You don't want to be doing anything else but calling at any time. That's your lead generation time. You're preparing. You're taking a piece of that 3 hours to prepare for the calls, to do the calls, and to do the follow-up work. That's all we'll do, right? Let's move on to visiting. Again, know your options for visiting, know who to visit, know when to visit, right? The second way of getting in front of people is face-to-face. Visiting face-to-face is surely an unbeatable way to quickly establish trust and begin building relationships. People form an immediate opinion of you from your clothes, your handshake, your smile, and the words you say, and the way that you express them. People will also quickly discern if you really care about them by questions you ask and the way you listen and respond to the concerns. Likewise, when you meet people in person, you can quickly assess their motivation and get a sense of how they are responding to you in your presentation. For these reasons, many agents prefer visiting people over phone calling. Absolutely. When I first started out, I was much better face-to-face in terms of that communication process. The phones took me a little bit longer. I would argue that there's validity in that. You can always, you all possess a level of charm and or ability to communicate with other people. And in lieu of, it's much easier to do in person. That phone call is all about skill. It's all about the words. There's no there's no looking at somebody and kind of having that physical nature warm you up and be more comfortable and allow you to move forward. So it's that makes sense to me that as maybe I would be better on the phone now. I don't know.
Question, okay, with door knocking, if you're inviting them to an event, is it better to lead with, hi, I'm Melanie from Keller Williams, inviting you to this event, or hi, this is Melanie, your neighbor, I'm inviting you to this event. By the way, I happen to be an agent. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like if
it's not a shell game, right? It's you introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Melanie. I'm a realtor and a neighbor. I have, we have a property that we listed. Then I'm gonna have an open house on Saturday, and I'd love to see you there. And I do invite anyone you might know that would be interested in seeing the property and or being a neighbor.
I like that. I'm a realtor in your neighborhood. Okay, thanks. I'll say that.
So, right, so, tells of, so Diane Kukuska is famous,
This is a great
story.
story.
The one that, all right, read it. Let's see. Who sold 104 houses her first year in real estate, tells of the time when she followed up a phone call with a visitor. I was doing my prospecting calls and I reached a man who told me, I've heard of you and there's no way I will do business with you. Instead of feeling defeated and giving up, Diana immediately got in her car, drove over to the man's house and knocked on his door. When he answered, she said simply, hi, I'm Diana Kukuska, and I just wanted you to see me in the flesh, to see that I don't have horns or a tail. I would like the opportunity to tell you how I can be of service to you. Well, the man invited her in and not only became her customer, but became a great longtime friend, right? So, there is a certain demystification that happens when you're from somebody that's, it's harder for people to project human beings face to face than it is over the phone, right? So, know your options for visiting. And like I said, we talked a little bit about this before: door knocking, pop-bys, and random encounters. So Ray and Julie Scheller, who I both know them both, the Busy Blondes, they used to be in Los Angeles, give a lot of credit for a boost in lead generation on their team to Jeff. Jeff joined the team in 2002 as a door-to-door prospector. He has since assumed many other duties, but Jeff remains committed to spending 3 hours every day, 4 days a week, out on the streets knocking on doors. When he first started door knocking, Jeff reported that 8 out of 10 people were unreceptive. As he has gained confidence and expertise, however, he now finds that 8 out of 10 people welcome him and are glad to talk with him. His message is pretty simple. He's there to find out who needs to buy or sell real estate and to talk about the Busy Blondes. With his 2 to 3 hours of daily lead generation, Jeff gets face-to-face with 150 to 200 people every single week. What would getting face-to-face with 150 to 200 people every week do for your business? Jeff, Ray, and Judy all agree that despite 20 plus years in brand building by Busy Blondes, if they were to stop their systematic prospecting efforts like Jeff and Wadaki, business would dry up. They are no longer relevance because they stopped. It took some time. They sold their database. They went on to do other things, but they sold their database. They sold the Busy Blonde brand, and those people didn't.
You can sell your database. Wow. How do you do that?
You have to have it. Well, when you sell over 100 properties in a certain area, and you've been doing that consistently for years, you have a brand of value, you have the client base that supports that brand. And that's something like that. Would you buy it?
Maybe, then it's already set up. You just jump right in.
You gotta do the work.
I wonder how much those databases cost.
I know exactly how much.
Oh, like ballpark range, how much?
I know why.
How much would they, like, what's the ballpark?
So let me just put it this way: there was an offer on it for $150,000,
Okay.
and that person was just going to take the database and scrap the whole Busy Blonde piece because he had his own.
But then there's an ongoing referral piece of that too. isn't
No,
there?
no.
Really?
No referral.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why would they leave that on the table?
I forget.
It would lower the purchase price then, right? If they got
Well, yeah, they were gonna get it, they were gonna get a continuing tail to it, for
Right.
sure, absolutely. So, and so in that, they did opt for the sale of it with somebody maintaining the Busy Blonde brand and office. And they did get a little piece of the top of that. They got some money and a piece of the top, they might have got like 50 grand and like a piece of every deal, but then that person bought it, really dropped the ball. So. Yeah, over the next 3 years, they just, they screwed it up. But this is what it's, but they built their business on doorknob. 3 hours a day, every day. Right? You're doing, if it's 2 hours, you're doing 50 houses. In that 2 hours, you're talking to 10 people, 10 out of 50, 10 times 5, that's 50 people you're talking to a week. You have to understand that some substantive opportunity will come from that. Yeah. It's just a numbers game. Popeyes, many agents like to drop by to visit past customers and vets who may refer or who have seen referrals, sent referrals to you in the past. Refer to power session number 5, working with vets for your detailed plan for the vets. Imagine you sold somebody a property 3 years ago. On the anniversary of their sale, you send them an anniversary gift, a box of donuts.
And they go, oh my God, I didn't even remember. This is the day. I'm on Friday.
And then when that gets delivered, you follow that up with a phone call. It's like, oh, blah, 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 happy anniversary, my goodness. It goes deep. It rekindles all of that in seconds, time evaporates with the presence of a gesture like that, right? Casual meetings, you never want to pass that up. I have some people who are really, really good at this. It's like taking the opportunity or taking the stance that opportunity exists everywhere. Talking in a supermarket line or with sitting next to the parent at a school event, or it exists everywhere. You employ the connector conversations and you explore what relationship looks like with that person.
How do you create like oops, just met you, ha ha ha, this is a casual meeting. This wasn't intentional at all.
Well,
I'm a
this
real estate
is saying casual meetings occur. Casual opportunities are everywhere.
Right.
But you're saying, oh, I want to make something. Well, it's about
like
it's about
uncomfortable. You're like, oh, I just met this great guy,
It's about authenticity, right?
Yeah.
It's about you being authentic in the moment.
Yeah.
Is what makes that happen.
True.
Even if it's contrived. You're like, oh, it's like, there's this neighbor of mine and he walks his dog 7 o'clock every morning and, I have no consistency on when I walk my dog, but I know if I leave the house at 7:03, that I'm gonna see him.
Yeah.
And I want to have a conversation with him, so.
It's about just like being intentional when you do have a casual encounter, to be like, oh, this is a casual encounter, let me figure out what their needs are. Or let me figure out like let me use Ford, figure out how I could potentially be of service to this person through like a casual encounter.
Yeah, and it's like relationship takes, you don't want to jump over the steps.
Yeah.
It's like we can get information about our farms through title, right? We can literally, before that, we can go and find, let's say, 6 out of 10 of them on social media and get some information about them.
Yeah.
Now, my first time at your door, it's like, oh, hi there, how's it going? I follow you on social media, I say blah, 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 I say, your hair regime is fabulous, all that,
Really girls read
It's that,
Yeah,
yeah, you have to use as an underpinning,
Yeah.
of course, but you don't wanna,
Yeah,
show them you're a creep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, it's more like, what's your number? I'll text you the product.
Again, right out the gate, I say, pace yourself.
I'm just
It's like,
impatient.
oh, our dogs could have a play date, oh, our that, you know what I mean, like, you say, find common ground
Yeah,
and work on that common ground,
right,
right?
and be patient.
Oh, your neighbor, how long have you lived in the neighborhood? What do you love best, we just moved in, who do you use as a dry cleaner? Let me want to pump you for some information about the neighborhood, maybe we can eat tomorrow and walk our dogs together and then come for the, I can get all your favorite, restaurant, dry cleaner, blah, 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 blah.
Love it. Yeah,
Next step,
next step.
all right, take a deep breath.
I'm just impatient. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's a sense of urgency is okay,
Yeah,
but there's a sense of urgency and then there's some things take time.
yeah,
It's not you slowing down the process, it's about you giving the process deference to mature to the level that you need it to mature to.
marinate.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
marinate. I can do that.
Know when to visit, know when to call, know when to visit, and know who to visit. You got FISBOs, expireds, residents of geographic area, apartment dwellers, homeowners, corporations, banks, builders, mess. So all of these people, the visits can be part of many different types of plans, right? If you're working with a specific type of client, or you're working in a certain geographic area or a certain demographic, or if you're doing NODs, right? You could send out all letters to the people who just received notice of defaults saying, oh, if you need to buy or sell, and I'm sorry, but I have some clients looking for properties in your area, and I know I see you received a notice of default, you're interested in selling it or receiving an offer, right? That'll go from the door to the trash most times. But then if you knock on the door and if you disrupt the conversation, maybe booklets, most FAQs on NODs, right? And with some resources. It's not, it's like how do you build value in that conversation, right? All right. I think if you are door knocking geographic area, I think that, people ask me what's the best time. I say whatever time you choose that you're door knocking or visit, just do the same time every time, because sooner or later you're going to get that person at home during that time period, right? Assess yourself. All right, that's attending, hosting events. All right, so the next is open houses, okay? And again, this is a form of prospecting. There's a whole section with open houses, right? Open houses are an opportunity. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped attending or hosting an event, right? So there's the opportunity of how do I gather people for an event, a buyer seminar, seller seminar, NOD seminar, doggy, dog care seminar, whatever it is that you can create value for those groups, right? I've seen plenty of agents do buyer seminars, and it's I've seen mild success to major success. It's all about getting people there is one part of it, but you have to look at events in a couple different ways, just for the sake of the event itself, of course, right? There's the event itself, right? And how many people show up to the event and see it of value. For sure. There's the inviting. There's the promoting. And then there's the follow-up. Each of them have touches to them, right? The event is one touch, right? People show up, they experience the event. Promoting the event, social media, emails, all of this stuff, right? That could be, let's say 3 to 5 touches. And then the actual invite itself is a touch, right? And then the follow-up again, like the promotion is, can be 3 to 5 touches, right? You can have a handwritten card. Email, text, and social media posts, right? And then here is, social media, email, etc. Right? Right. So, with this one event, yes, and hey, maybe 10 people show up to the event, right? And maybe you invite 100 people, right? And then you're promoting to thousands of people, right? And you're following up also with social media, you're touching thousands of people. So while only 10 people are coming to your event, the fact that you are doing all of this work and leverage, you're affecting, thousands of people. Thousands of people are seeing, you're cross-collateralizing that event with thousands of people, right? Right, so, again, getting people to events is not as easy as you might think. It's it can be difficult, and I've seen some real people really push it. But again, that's only one piece of the puzzle. It's the promoting, the inviting, and the follow-up that adds so much more, right? Yeah, and the same can be said for open houses, right? This is an event, and then this is, right? Open house. Here's the open house. Here's the promotion. Door knock. Social media, email, right? And then the same thing again. Follow up. Right? The open house event itself, hey, if 10 people come to that, what else are you getting out of it? So don't think so binarily about, and I think we'll get into this in the future section about open houses and stuff. But this is what it is, the opportunity, right? How can I use this to build my brand, garner awareness, and maybe, work into an opportunity. Right?
And
Always.
it's fun when it's an event you're already going to. Every event I'm going to, I just invite everybody.
Sure, you can do it that way. I mean,
Try to make it fun.
these are events that,
Yeah. I know that's a lot of fall through, but
but yeah, no, that's social media in general.
yeah,
We're talking
It's like-
about events that you
Right.
can control, that you can create,
Yeah.
right?
just for like fun events.
Yes, you know, always ask the question, how much more can I do here, right? Well, I think that's probably, you know, twilight opens are not, you know, the greatest use of time and energy. There's some properties that actually speak to it, right? And they're magical, and you'd like to share that experience with potential buyers and agents who might have potential clients to buy that property. I understand that, but you know, unless you're serving booze and food and, oh my God,
It's just stupid.
yeah.
Parking's always a pain in the ass, it's always during rush hour.
Yeah.
Private showings, if you want to show the view at night.
Yeah, I mean,
And please don't send your open house invites to realtors.
well,
It's the fastest way to get them unsubscribed.
I agree with you. Customer appreciation parties are another ways to, other events to have. I think it's a really great opportunity to coalesce around a shared passion. If it's, you know, tailgating for, you know, your school alum, or you know, a doggy photo day, or you know, an art tour. Share a piece of yourself that you enjoy, you know, free coaching session for, you know, for working out, whatever it is. You know, you can create a larger swatch of people to appreciate that, right? Everybody loves a good party, right? Customer parties are a powerful lead generation and relationship building activity, especially if you have a lot of past customers or a well-established network of people you know and may have influence with. These parties can be a big or small, casual or formal, client or lively event. It's a shared experience that gets into people's feelings, okay? When we're talking about relationship building opportunities for the future, right? I had a group of guys over for dinner, you know, 12 guys that I really liked a couple months ago, and we all had a great time, and you know, these people knew each other, didn't know each other, learned more about each other, and you know, I got 3 calls afterwards asking me questions about real estate, right? And it's just a little bit. They had questions for a while, and they've been asking somebody, but they weren't asking me. But here, you know, 4 out of 12 guys with a question about real estate, you know, and that I was able to help, right? And I wouldn't have known. So, seminars and classes, again, we talked a little bit about it. You know, one of the questions here is what are some useful topics for seminars? What was that?
That's a good question.
Well, yeah.
First time home buyer.
First time home buyer. There goes. That's one for sure. There.
Multifamily buying.
Sure. There's no, you know, there's no wrong answers, right? In the real estate related areas, it could be, you know, first time home buyers, owning a first investment property, dealing with you know, notice of defaults, or you know, I can't pay my mortgage. What next, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, so like, we did, of course. I mean, that's the kind of thing I need to know about. What would I do without the lender being there? How can I explain to these people, you know,
or have the lender there.
You know,
I don't want the lender to take my property, so.
The lender, why has
Remember,
the
it's
lender
just a
take your client?
partnership, because you refer them to the lender, they use
Yeah, no.
the lender, they use you as the realtor.
Yeah, you're the realtor, they're the lender. There's plenty to do for everyone, and I would never get in business with a lender who sells real estate.
Or if you like have any friends who are like contractors or landscapers, or like something that you do a seminar on like how to maintain your hot water heater.
Right.
And then like, be like, oh, we're like, I'm gonna refer you business, and you're gonna refer me business, I'll give you a little. Maybe snack
You
out.
know what, I love that. So while concern about the business, understandably, you might not have the confidence to like put yourself in front of a group of people and willing to answer any question. So then the question becomes, who can I leverage? Right? Who can I leverage? Is it somebody who knows about multifamily or first time loan or no money down loan programs? Or is it about, something not related to real estate, right? It's like, our neighborhood, neighborhood garden tour or whatever it is, right? There's lots of different ways to coalesce people around subject matter, even though, while you're developing mastery of the process, right? Yeah, don't get hung up that you have to go. You have to do it all. You have to get people there. You have to promote it. You have to market it. You have to get the people into the party, right?
Reason I'm asking that question, I think I brought this up to you before. I have one of the contracts. It's about, I don't know how many doors, over 200 doors.
Yeah.
And I was trying to come up with a plan on how to get these things together, like you were saying, and what do I say to them when I do get them into one setting?
Is there a community rep?
The people from a specific apartment complex.
Right, that's what I was asking, if there's like a community room.
A community room.
Usually
Here's-
buildings that are that big have kind of a space where you can hold a party or something.
Oh, yeah, that's.
So you could book that and have a first-time homebuyer seminar and invite Andy or the lender of your choice to, discuss the buying process.
And the pain point for a renter is like, look how much money you would put down to rent that you could be putting down on a mortgage.
And people will say, well, I can't afford to buy because interest rates are 7%. And your response is, well, right now you're paying 100%.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, how?
But maybe they can't afford to buy.
Yeah.
And that's where you get a little creative. Maybe they don't have much of a down payment, but they do want to go into real estate. That's a conversation you can have. And then you go to the KW Roll Network, maybe you find a way that they can buy an investment property in another city that they can afford. So at least they can start with a little piece of that, and they're going to be forever grateful for getting the foot for. Sometimes the difference between rent and owning in LA is just incomprehensible.
Is it a good idea or a bad idea to say, because I remember Andy, I'll never forget, she said there are 3,000 types of loans. So is that good to say like, hey, there's 3,000 ways to borrow money? I'm sure they could figure out a way for you to, or is that, don't say 3,000.
You can go get like a loan officer.
I don't think target a
I don't think it matters.
specific loan program.
No,
Then
just
you
say,
would-
you
no,
just
what
say,
I'm
I can't, this is an objection you're talking about.
Yeah, when they're like, oh, I can't.
I can't afford to buy.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that way? Because I have too much debt, because I don't have a down payment.
Yeah.
Then you have to find out why did you think that? Well, I've only saved up $20,000. Well, there are low down payment loan programs. Do you have a lot of other debt?
Mhm.
Maybe you can get them with somebody that can help them reduce their debt. It's a process.
You have a professional designation. Are you a nurse? Are you a teacher? Are you, are you a first responder? Are you, there's lots of, to your point. there's
Are you a
3,000
lawyer?
loan
And then you
programs.
have to have You get really preferential rates, you only have to put down
Right.
5%.
I
Just
just
say
didn't know if
that.
that word turned them off, like it sounds predatory.
Well, if that is.
That's my concern.
No.
No.
You worry a lot.
I know. I have a tank top that says, hold on, let me over. I got it at
So-
Walmart.
I thought all I had.
You stop the conversation, you stop the contribution too soon, right?
Okay.
Said, well, there are 3,000 different loan programs.
Sure.
Right, you have to, you start to ask questions. That's not
Okay.
Because sometimes they are great. It's okay, they just want to be there when they are.
Yeah. So you want me to get you more water?
No, it's.
Vet them for the specific loan, like, well, what are your barriers? And then you can talk to the loan officer be like, here are the variables. What are loans that could potentially, like combat those objections or fit these certain people? So it's like you become the head of the wheel, all these different resources.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's, hey, there are 3,000 different loans. There are loans for people with low down payments, people with professional designations, like policemen, policemen and firemen, teachers and nurses, and different companies offer programs. Different city, the city offers different programs. So really, it's about taking apart your individual equation and finding something that works for you.
I had a question earlier about when she spoke of about the house to rent. And I was told when I was yesterday, some guy said he was not looking to buy a house, but he was looking for a house to rent. I mean, how does that point?
How many bedrooms?
How does that work? I mean, like,
You can find a house to rent, what's the budget?
well, I
Project, what area?
haven't got to that point yet. He had just brought this to me. I wrote his information down.
So call, say hi, a real estate agent, can I get a little more information, so I can see if I can be helpful with finding a house to rent.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
my
it says it's just
tenants,
the
my
lease.
tenants are buyers, I mean, that's a pool of buyers.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a certain price point that ultimately them looking on Craigslist, Zillow, apartments.com may serve them better, where, you can't necessarily help them.
Under 3,000.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, but I mean, what is the commission? I mean, what's that process versus like?
It's the same.
I don't want to go down a whole rabbit hole of this, but you get paid on the percentage of the term of the lease.
Okay, so like.
So go on to the MLS, look up leases in the area that this guy wants to be able to tell you. Some of them can be $100, some of them can be 2.5%, some can be 3%, or some complexes it'll give you 5%. But it's all determined, usually the aggregate of the first term of the lease.
Okay.
But for the lower price properties, they're often not on the MLS, and then the commission, if you were to get one, would come from the tenant. My experience in that regard is it's very low amount of money for you, and it's a good amount of money for them. So it doesn't usually behoove you. You can say, look, I'm happy to help you, but realistically, if you're gonna end up having to pay me if I'm looking for something for $1,800 a month, you would end up having to pay me. You might be better off just going on your own, because the reality is you calling that homeowner for that $1,800 a month place as a realtor, they don't want to talk to you because they don't want to pay you.
Yes, that's my point. Yeah, I mean, that's not even.
But if he's looking for a house,
Just ask. Yeah.
Isn't it above 2,500, it's worth it, but below it's not?
It's worth it
No,
to
if it's worth it
For
you,
liability purposes.
No,
Remember when
just if
police
it's-
had that rental thing and you
if
said?
it's worth it
Okay.
for you, you do it at any price. I do it for free for the right relational
Oh,
equity, right?
okay.
That's not the, yeah, somehow that got insured improperly. It's where, if you want to make a gross shareholder, 3,000 times 12, that's $36,000 a year. That's, and then 2.5% of that is, less. Right, and then it's like $900. And so it's closer to like $1,000, and then you can piece to the company, and then so it becomes, what's in it.
Okay.
As long as you know it's in it for you
Okay.
and what you get out of it. If it's hey, I want to do the do. I just want to do the paperwork. I want to sign it. I want to get from point A to point B with a client. Doesn't matter how much you make, right? But to Charlotte's point,
there's more
it's-
paperwork.
the work is the same. The work is the same if you're making $300, if you're making $10,000, or you're making, more, right? The work is the same with the lease, right? It's the same with selling. You take a stance, I'm not going to sell anything less than $300,000 if there wasn't buy, right? It's like, okay, well, because it's the same work for all of that, right?
Yeah.
3,000, 3 million, 30 million, it's all the same work.
So don't worry about liability. Those smaller leases? Because remember when
No.
Elise was asking you? I
Yeah,
misheard it then, sorry.
somehow, that was answered incorrectly. It's not about liability. There is liability and there is the cost of liability, but
Okay,
But
no, I probably
I don't want that to
misunderstood
be.
it.
For anyone in this room that has done no business, if somebody offers you a lease, take it.
What?
Yeah.
All that.
Well,
It's
I,
money.
it's, no,
No, it's not money.
It's
It doesn't
experience.
work.
It's experience.
Right.
It's experience. The payday is something that just goes along with it, right? So you'll see on the next page, there's lots more different ways to prospect. You know, we basically answered these questions. Where can you find teaching and speaking opportunities? And what are some organizations in your community that hold it? You start to look at around you in a more holistic way. What are the opportunities that exist already? Here's some more prospecting through networking ideas and other creative prospecting events. They're on page 30, 50 something.
60?
Right there.
60.
60. On page 60 are some great things to. There are no rules, guys. You want to, you know, this is an opportunity to be creative, for you creative types.
She's lying, there's a lot of.
There are, well, yes, but not to what you need. You can stand in the corner. You can stand in the corner.
I've been in this room a while, I've been
With a sandwich board, as long as that sandwich board has your DR.
What happened to that guy? What happened to that guy that did that with his dog?
You mean the Burt Reynolds post?
Joseph, do you remember him? He did that with the sandwich board with his dog.
Yeah. I don't know, I haven't seen him.
He was really
No,
nice.
yeah, he was really sweet, I remember him. A skinny blonde hair kid. Yeah, he made doggy treats and such.
He stood out with a sandwich board and his dog treats and he had the.
Yeah, in West Hollywood,
Yeah.
he did, yeah, no, I like that.
Was that successful?
Well, you got people,
So he's not
it's
here
about,
anymore.
it's about getting, how do you get non-vets, right? He met some people,
Yeah, I
right?
think he enjoyed it
He
too.
did enjoy it, yeah, he did. Yeah, so, and then there's the exercise on page 61 that has you take an inventory of where you are and what you doing. I would encourage you to read 60 and you know, have a glass of wine or whatever it is, to just chill and think about what you would be willing to do and how do you best utilize your special talents.
Joey, are you part of the Rotary Club?
No, I'm not. part of
Chase
it.
Camp has though.
Chase is still,
I think so.
he moved to, he's in Glendale or something, Pasadena.
Has anyone in the office
No, he actually was back there.
Is he? Oh,
Yeah.
he is back, you're absolutely right, you're back. Not that I know of anymore, I don't think Andrew is. Join, it's a lovely group of people. They're a little too old for my personal taste, but you can make the magic happen there.
Is it called?
No, every Wednesday at 12 o'clock at Ebell I think they have a lunch, I think it's every week. But if you look it up, Wilshire Rotary is what it is. Yeah, that's Melanie, you too,
Yeah,
I love you. You know, it's a bunch of sweet old. Yeah, it's
All the
different.
meetings in the gallery.
Yes, they are. It's different. It's like a hipster wearing like a grandpa sweater. When it's on me, I just look like a grandpa. I'm just saying, I do. But on you, it looks cute, right? It looks ironic. Yeah, but on me, it just looks like a grandpa. So. All right, so on page, I guess it is 63, overcoming limiting beliefs. The reality, the thick-skinned fearlessness expected in a salesperson is more fiction than fact. It turns out that many people are struggling with a bone-shaking fear of prospecting. This fear tends to persist regardless of what they sell, how well they have been trained to sell it, and how they manage their time or set their goals, or how much they personally believe in their product's worth. That's why it's important for you to find a prospecting activity that resonates with your personal skills, with who you are, where you are, what you love to do. That's the building block. It's in that there will be a stretch, okay? And there's going to be a stretch even in that, even in your preferred way of doing things. There's going to be a stretch. There's going to be discomfort. Discomfort is part. Okay, take a deep breath. There's a lot of it, and this won't be the worst of it. Okay, this will be some of the best of it because you get paid to do it. Okay, so do it. Right, you're going to stretch a little bit, but choose something that is close to your natural skill sets, and then as you succeed in that, we will add on more discomfort. Right. It's about building up that callus of a salesperson. For some people, their limiting beliefs originate from childhood messages when they were told to be seen and not heard, or be happy with what you have. These messages can be very powerful and challenging to overcome. For others, the basic fear of rejection creates this the reluctance. We all want to be in control of our destiny, to make a contact. You have to accept that that the outcome may be no instead of yes. And that's okay. You have to get comfortable with making contact. That's the most relevant part. Let's see what Chris says. When I am making my calls, my mindset is that I'm looking to help people. I don't look at it like I'm bothering people. And that really is a quantum shift in understanding. You were there to help. You have helped people in the past, and you're looking to help more people. It's just, I've helped everybody that I know. How can I help I'm looking for more people to help, right? And like I can get away with even saying that right out front. And of course, I just have a silliness around it, and I believe it, right? I believe it. You have to believe it, for sure. If we really want the business, we would call people all day long or see people all day long. When we are not confident that we can get business that way, that's when call reluctance comes into play. Sure. Let's see, what does Jane Fontaine has adopted a great mindset. Have you ever had someone call you to ask you if you wanted your windows washed and you were kind of annoyed and you hung up on him because you didn't? But the next time they called and you needed your windows washed, how happy you were when they called. I started thinking that if someone hangs up on me, then I should think, yeah, they just saved me time. I can get on with the next call. It gave me a new way to look at people who might hang up on me or get mad at me, or as not a personal thing, because they don't even know who I am. Jane understands that making contact and asking for business is a numbers game. You have to work through the no's to get to the yes. Think of every no as a path to yes, and the sooner you get through the no's, the sooner you will get to the yes, right? Affirmations, your body is always listening, right? And manifestation is a real thing. It just is. It is, right? What you achieve at different levels, that will vary. But you create through your mindset, through affirmations, you can create a positive, optimistic way of moving forward by just using the manipulations of words in a consistent way. You don't have to believe it. It works, right? I've seen it, I've been around long enough to see it work, right? Do you say affirmations every day? Whether you think you do or not, you certainly do. The question is, are you telling yourself positive things, or are you filling your mind with limiting thoughts like I can't or I am not. My wife believes, she truly believes that she can cook.
I can understand.
She believes that she can cook.
Works
But we know
for
she
her.
can cook, right? It works for her because,
She doesn't want to cook.
because I cook.
That's right. So why on earth should she cook?
The point is, she's created an mythology that she cannot. And in fact, she can, right? She finds it easier to, when I'm away, to just call them or order from Uber Eats, right? But she can, but she's created this, her reality, right, is that she can't do that, right?
I can make potato.
She can make scrambled eggs.
Both are
Valuable options.
Right.
Sometimes she does.
So remember that you are service-oriented professional. Remember that you are confident and committed, and that your competence and experience will grow over time. Remember that you don't need to be an expert, just someone who brings service and value and who is willing to find answers to what you don't know. Remember that people want to do business with people they like, trust, and respect. All right? And so, there you go. All right. That's the wrap up for and power session 2, and then power session 3 is marketing. Okay, next.
Can we grab one on the way out?
You absolutely do.